Hello everyone, and welcome back to part 7 of the Pokemon Crystal Nuzlocke. Last time we beat the 6th and 7th gyms, so nothing really left to do except to keep moving forward. Except for the fact that we have to detour back to Goldenrod for the radio tower takeover. By the way, I'm using a Pidgey to use Fly, but I'm not using it in battle even though it was one of my encounters earlier. So the Team Rocket stuff in this game. This is for sure one of the slowest parts of a Gen 2 playthrough. All it is just slaughtering dozens of underleveled rocket grunts for a while. But thankfully with the power of editing, we can make that a lot shorter. I probably won't skip every single battle unless the video would be like 3 minutes. I will be skipping most of the grunts here. But skipping ahead a few battles, I battled a grunt with a wheezing. I realized these things could be really scary if they blow up on me. But thankfully Wheezing doesn't have Levitate in this game, so I can Magnitude it to death with Graveler. I've decided if I can get any trade evolution Pokemon like Graveler or Machoke to level 40, I'll let them evolve into their final forms. That shouldn't be too bad, right? Graveler's always been a solid Pokemon. Anyways, I sure do love having 7 gym badges fighting a level 23 Rattata. This guy here has a Porygon, but just because it's rare doesn't mean it's strong. At the top of the radio tower, we find an imposter. And oh yeah, this is that guy with a full team of coughing and wheezing. This could be troublesome because they like to use self-destruct, and fighting 6 of them might be too much for Graveler alone, especially when you forget to heal. Whoops. First one goes down easily, but then here comes the big guy. But it's not much of a big deal. He just uses Tackle for 3 damage and goes down to a single Magnitude 9. Just kidding, it lives on a sliver. But instead of blowing up, it just throws by going for a weak sludge and lets itself faint. The next Magnitude fails to kill, but the next coughing just goes for another weak sludge. Since it's on red health, we can just kill it the next Magnitude. The exact same thing happens on the next one, but you know the coughing still doesn't self-destruct. The next one is one-shot by another Magnitude 7. But we roll a Magnitude 6 on coughing number 6, falling just short of the KO. But he just keeps going for weak sludge attacks, so the AI just kind of threw here. He did finally land the poison though. We might have been in trouble if that happened sooner. But despite forgetting to heal, we still beat the full team of coughings and wheezing with no major issues. The executive gives us the basement key so that we can continue on with the story. My Graveler almost died to overworld poison, but we have healing for that. And shout out to this random guy with a level 10 Slowpoke, very cool. Well, going into the Rocket Underground, the game says, hey, time for another rival fight, but I say, I knew this was coming because I've played this game. So he leads with Golbat, and I send out Granbull. Golbat starts with Confuse Ray, and I go for Strength, not hitting myself. Strength does about 2/3 of Golbat's health, and all we end up taking is a weak wing attack. We break through Confusion again to take down the Golbat. Magnemite comes out next, and we instantly hit ourselves and get Thunder Wave. On the next turn, we get hit with a Thunder Shock as we hit ourselves again. At this point, I realize we're on pretty low health, so I swap into Graveler. We land a super effective Magnitude 7 to one-shot. Next comes in his fully evolved FERALIGATR, which can easily one-shot my Graveler if I don't switch. So I swap into Gyarados for the Water Resist, but it only ends up going for a weak Water Gun. I figured Dragon Rage might be my best option, so I click it. It ends up doing about 1/3 as it goes for Scary Face to lower my speed. So on the next turn it moves first and hits Gyarados with a Bite. Thankfully it doesn't flinch and we can land a second Dragon Rage. But we jinx it, as on the next turn it uses Bite again and does get the flinch. In fact, it was even nice enough to do it a second time. And a third, this time with a critical hit. So at this point I give up and swap to Machoke. And one Seismic Toss is enough to score the KO. Next out is Haunter, and we don't really have anything to hit it with, so we swap into Graveler as we get hit with a Mean Look. It uses Curse as we just hit a weak Magnitude 4. On the next turn it uses Shadow Ball, which in Gen 2 is physical, so not much to worry about, and we can kill the Haunter. Last out is SNEASEL, and all it does is land a weak Feint attack as we one-shot back with a Rock Throw, finishing the battle. He goes on his usual speech about not loving Pokemon and leaves, allowing us to continue. Anyways, despite the fact that I've played through Gen 2 many times now, I still get stuck on the switch puzzle. I fiddled around with the switches for a solid 5 minutes, until I gave up and googled the solution like an idiot. Turns out all you needed to do was activate them all in order from left to right. Anyways, after some leveling up, Venonat evolves into Venomoth at level 31. Weird level for an evolution. Also the fact it learns Gust this late, early gen movesets or something else. Battling one of the grunts here, and this Weezing finally decided to blow up on my Gyarados. Thankfully we were at full health, otherwise we may have had a problem. A few grunts later, we find the real director, and he gives us the card key so we can go back to a previously locked part of the radio tower. The last battle of the Rocket Takeover is against just another one of the unnamed executives. Thankfully the remix fixed that. We one-shot the Houndour with a crit Karate Chop, Coughing goes down to 3 Seismic Tosses, and Houndoom fades to a single Magnitude 8, marking an underwhelming finish to an underwhelming plot. So after that, Team Rocket gets disbanded, yada yada. This guy gives us this thing and we can finally head back to the gym challenge. Fast forwarding a bit, we head back and I catch a Bellsprout on Route 44. Also on the way out, I encounter Entei. I toss an Ultra Ball just to see if I could catch it, but it breaks out and runs away. Oh well. Moving on into the Ice Path, all I really have to say is that I like how this place looks, but gameplay-wise it isn't really as fun. We pick up the Waterfall HM here, and later on we catch a Swinub. Strength puzzles suck, they take forever. But after multiple minutes of that nonsense, we exit the cave and arrive in Blackthorn City. So that means it's time for the 8th gym. The Dratinis that the gym trainer uses really love spamming Thunder Wave and Dragon Rage. It's really annoying but not bad since Dragon Rage deals a set 40 HP, so it can be worked around easily. I bet the developers making this game ran out of ideas, so they just added more strength puzzles. That'll do it. Anyways, time for the gym battle. So Claire starts off with her first of 3 Dragonairs, as I accidentally lead with Graveler. Remembering that it has Surf, I instantly swap into my Gyarados, as Gyarados shrugs off even a critical hit. Next I go for a Dragon Rage as Dragonair uses Dragon Breath, which of course gets the paralysis. On the next turn it hits another Dragon Breath as I use Dragon Rage again. And the same thing happens again a third time, knocking out the first Dragonair. Here comes number 2. I remember that this one has Thunderbolt, so I swap out into Graveler. I try to go for Magnitude, but Dragon Breath gets the full paralysis. The next Dragon Breath leaves me in the red as I finally land a Magnitude. Just for a Magnitude 4. After that disaster, I try to swap into Granbull, who gets hit with another Dragon Breath. If these games were newer, Granbull would be a Fairy type and that wouldn't happen. Next it uses Thunderbolt as I use Strength for decent damage. Dragonair hits another Thunderbolt as I finish it off with a Shadow Ball. Number 3 comes in, and since I'm on low health, I swap into Quilava as it goes for an Ice Beam. Then I realize that Quilava's moveset sucks, so I just go for Cut. Dragonair follows up with another Dragon Breath, complete with paralysis, again. Dragonair hits us in the red as we land another weak Cut. Meant to use Quick Attack here before Quilava died, but I misclicked and wasn't able to. I send Machoke back in on an Ice Beam as a crit Karate Chop knocks out the final Dragonair. So out comes the final Pokemon, Kingdra. Kingdra goes for a really hard Surf that just kills Machoke on the spot. Not sure what else to do, I send in Venomoth as it's my last Pokemon on full health. Kingdra throws by going for Smokescreen and missing, as we land a Stun Spore in response to that. Next turn I land a weak Confusion for not much damage as Kingdra does about 80% with another Surf. So unfortunately I hit another Confusion for some chip damage as Kingdra finishes off Venomoth with another Surf. Things are looking pretty dire here as I send in Granbull, as it's my only Pokemon that isn't paralyzed so it can move first. We go for a Strength as it's all I can really do. And we land short of the knockout, and it's looking like Granbull's gonna die here too, but it gets fully paralyzed, meaning that we can finish it off and not lose the entire run. We did it, despite being an extremely close battle. We won. But we don't get the badge yet, as Claire says to go to the Dragon's Den and pass a test first, but not before saying goodbye to our 3 fallen friends. It sucks losing your starter, but to be honest, Quilava hasn't really done anything since the beginning. Arrive here, answer some questions about how Pokemon are great, no battles though. And after that nonsense, we can obtain our 8th and final Johto badge. So with that, next time we will take on the Pokemon League and finish this. See you all then.